Part 345. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3441. Cao Man, the son of Cao Tang, the lord of Guangming God City, put his arms around his chest and said with a look of embarrassment. "Oh! Cao Tang dare not stop me, what kind of a thing are you?" Snapped. Shui Wanren slapped him with a big mouth, extremely crisp. Cao Man's eyes widened, his body trembled slightly. His father is the lord of the bright God City. He is still the second-rank saint of the first-class temple of the Alliance of Light. Although the guy in front of him is also a demigod, he is only serving as the deputy city lord of Guangming God City after all. Isn't this weaker than his father? How dare this guy treat yourself like this? Cao Man gasped heavily, his eyes gradually turned red, and as his face continued to swell, he felt quite happy watching. Puff. Fang Fan was immediately amused, and couldn't help laughing out loud. What are you laughing at? Who gave you the right to laugh? Asshole. What are you? Cao Man didn't dare to turn against Shui Wanren directly, so he focused his eyes on Fang Fan in an instant, as if he was about to rush over, and then the cultivation base of the middle-level saint burst out. Roar. Keel Whale Hide rushed forward to protect it. Cao Man and the Keel Whale collided, and their figures fell backwards. Although the cultivation bases of the two are the same, there is still a gap in combat power. After retreating dozens of steps, Cao Man's figure slowly stabilized, and the displeasure on his face grew more and more at this moment. Son of a bitch. Terrible. Where are the city guards? Kill him. Kill them. All slaughtered. Cao Man had a cold face, appearing reckless and arrogant. I want to see who dares to do it. Cao Tang. Take care of your precious son. Dare to do this next time, but it won't be a slap in the face. Clash against the demigod, I can kill him directly. Shui Wanren snorted coldly, an endless aura erupted from all over his body, imperceptibly having a strong sense of oppression. The full pressure is in place, and the breath of death gradually gathers. Ah! Ah! Cao Man was suppressed by this powerful momentum, and his whole body trembled immediately, and strands of blood began to flow from the tiger's mouth. The body also began to crack a series of hideous and terrifying wounds. His eyes were already blood-red like corns. Enough. Cao Tang, the lord of Guangming God City, put on a dark face, protecting his precious son Cao Man, and then his complexion became particularly ugly. Hateful. Cao Tang was already full of resentment towards Shui Wanren in his heart, but he didn't dare to tear his face too much. If there is a fight, he is not an opponent, and it will only increase the humiliation. Although he is said to be the city lord of the bright God City, in this era, the strong will always be king. Let's go. Shui Wanren raised his eyebrows, and then strode forward without any hesitation. Fang Fan cast a deep glance in front of him, then turned and left. It seems that this Guangming God City is not just a gentle safe haven. With such a city lord, there may be many twists and turns in the future. Our storage ring and treasure. Chen Tianwei, the dean of the Black and White Academy, gritted his teeth and wanted to say something more, but Shui Wanren ignored him at all. Forget it. Or come back. Shui Wanren is determined to swallow those things. Su Qin, deputy head of the Yuanqi Academy, gritted his teeth, looking quite upset. But at this moment, no matter how much discomfort there is, it can only be endured with gritted teeth. Is it true that Shui Wanren doesn't care about our three families here? I don't believe it, he's that strong. Chen Tianwei, the dean of the Black and White Academy, was still a little reluctant. He. If you have the courage, go up and provoke him yourself. Don't forget, this is still the city of light. If there is a fight, those cultivators in Guangming God City will rush up and swallow us all in one go, and you won't even have a chance to regret it. Furthermore, Shui Wanren's combat power is not poor, and he was able to last so long in the hands of a weak demigod of the Protoss, so that the weak demigod of the Protoss would eventually commit suicide. If there is nothing wrong with it, do you believe it? Go back. What's the matter? Let's discuss it later. Now is not a good time to discuss this. Wanggu, the deputy head of the Dark Academy, saw it quite clearly. To be on the safe side, he can only return temporarily. Wanggu rolled his eyes, looked at Chen Tianwei and Su Qin, who were quite resentful, and immediately thought from his heart. Would you like to sit in my dark city? On the matter of asking for the storage ring, we can form an alliance. It is feasible for the three of us to work together to suppress Guangming Academy. Wanggu, the deputy head of the Dark Academy, was actually taking the opportunity to win him over. With the help of this wave of contradictions, bringing together the Black and White Academy and the Yuanji Academy can greatly strengthen the power of the Dark Camp. There is no need. My Yuanji Academy has always remained neutral. I won't get involved in your affairs. Su Qin, the deputy head of the Yuanji Academy, is completely personal. He knows very well that he doesn't care about fighting against the Light Camp or the Dark Camp just by relying on the combat power of the Yuanji Academy. In other words, no one can beat it. Only living in the gap between the two is the most at ease. Chen Tianwei, the dean of the Black and White Academy, couldn't help showing a look of hesitation on his face. He didn't give an answer immediately, but turned and left. At the gate of Guangming God City, Cao Tang and Cao Man are facing each other. Father! What are you so afraid of that Shui Wanren for? You are now the city lord, and he is the deputy city lord. If he is disobedient, kill him. Also, Father, aren't you a celebrity in front of His Majesty the Pope? Talk to His Majesty, remove his official title, and kill him. This is a heinous bastard. He slapped me in the face, I don't care, but he is slapping you in the face. My lord father, your patience will only get him unscrupulous. Father! What are you still hesitating about? Cao Man gritted his teeth, and the resentment on his face grew more and more. The more I talked, the more excited I became, and the more I talked, the more excited I became, and then my mentality exploded. Shut up. Cao Tang frowned, it sounded a little noisy. He is only a temporary post in the Temple of the Light Alliance, and his current position is still in the Guangming Academy, and he is the deputy master of the Guangming Academy. The old palace master of Guangming Academy doesn't even dare to treat the Pope slowly. Do you really think it's so easy to suppress him? You're too bloated today. Take a step back, even if he doesn't have those messy titles, he is still a weak demigod. In front of a strong demigod, you dare to be so presumptuous. I really spoiled you. Go back and face the wall and think about it. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3442. Cao Tang gritted his teeth, feeling extremely distressed about his useless son. The cultivation talent is not bad. It is already very good for the younger generation to be able to cultivate to the middle level saint, and they will have the opportunity to hit the demigod state in the future. It's just that the ability to judge the situation is really too bad. To put it bluntly, he is brave and foolish. I still need to find Murong Yu. I must have this woman. I've been chasing her for so long, but this woman is ignoring me. Humph. Last time I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity she was going to recruit students to force her, but I didn't expect her to escape again. On weekdays, she is in the Guangming Academy, and I can't find a chance. Now I am in the Guangming God City, which is our home field. I must fulfill my wish. Cao man licked his lips, thinking to himself, the color of greed and desire on his face was very clear. Snapped. Cao Teng slapped him straight across the face. What else is in your mind besides women? Murong Yu is from the Murong family. Don't mess around. Moreover, she is also a first-level tutor of Guangming Academy, and Shui Wanren has an impression of her. If you really cause trouble, Shui Wanren will never let you go. Don't regret it when you are hunted down. When the time comes, labor and capital will wipe your ass. Cao Teng said with an unhappy face. Oh shit. Having such a son is really bad luck for 8 lifetimes. I know. Women, isn't that the case? As long as I get her body, am I afraid that I won't get her heart? Tisk, alright, don't worry, I know what's in my heart. Hey. Cao man's complexion gradually became wretched. Vice Palace Master, you were so domineering just now. I just watched you hesitate before, but I didn't expect you to have such a masculine side. When everyone was walking in the City of Light, Bai Piao couldn't hold back his mouth again, and started to chatter. This sounds like a compliment. But when I think about it carefully, I always feel that there is something wrong with what I said. That being said, it's a little unclear. Is this a compliment? Or belittle? Or complain? Snort. This time they went too far. But in the future, I will stay in this Guangming God City, so I still have to be more careful. I can't protect you all the time. I'm not worried about Cao Teng. After all, he is the city lord of Guangming God City, so he doesn't care about you small shrimps. It's that Cao man. This is not a cheap lamp. Why? I should have been ruthless just now and killed him directly. But if you kill him, Cao Teng will definitely have to find me desperately, and then the group of people from the Dark Academy Yuanji Academy will find it convenient. Shui Wanren sighed, it was really not easy. While speaking, Shui Wanren suddenly focused his gaze on Fang Fan. You, take it easy. I don't know why, I'm panicking right now. I always feel that the Cao man will die in your hands sooner or later. You must be steady then. This Cao Teng is very protective of the calf. If he knows that you killed his son, he will do everything possible to kill you. Shui Wanren vaccinated Fang Fan in advance. Fang Fan was speechless. Is this vaccination necessary? What do you mean this guy will die in his hands in the future? There is no intersection at all, right? Deputy Palace Master, isn't it too early for what you said? I have no grievances with that Cao man, why did you kill him? I'm not a murderer. Fang Fan shrugged, speechless. That's it? I really don't understand it. He. Can't I predict in advance? Just wait, my predictions are generally more accurate. You boy has never been a fuel-efficient lamp. That Cao man likes to bully others because of his talent in cultivation. And this guy has a bad habit, that is, he likes other people's wives. You are surrounded by beautiful people, take it easy. If you encounter any unexpected situation, just tell me in time, and I will help you deal with it. Don't do it yourself. Once you have a conflict, you will most likely kill this guy. It doesn't matter if you are impulsive, the follow-up will be troublesome. Anyway, his father is still the city lord of Guangming God City. Shui Wanren immediately began to give thousands of instructions, and at this moment, he was afraid that Fang Fan would do some fancy things. The Deputy Palace Master's eyes. Tisk. This wave directly saw Fang Fan thoroughly. Fang Fan, do you hear that? Take it easy from now on. Don't start doing things when you encounter any situation. The Deputy Palace Master's education is right. This kid makes trouble every time, and after he does something, he makes me take the blame, it's too difficult for me. Bai Piao brokenly thought. Shui Wanren and Bai Piao sang together, and what they said was really good. Fang Fan was speechless at the moment. That's it? It's all arranged for me. Walking around in the Guangming God City, after walking for a long time, I saw the brand new Guangming Academy, which should be a branch of the Guangming Academy in theory. However, because this is the territory of the Divine Land, practicing here can get twice the result with half the effort, so at some point in the future, the branch of the Guangming Academy here is very likely to surpass the original headquarters. This location. Isn't it a bit too biased? It's basically next to the North City Wall. If we really encounter an army of Protoss coming to attack, won't our Guangming Academy become the first front line? This must have been deliberately arranged by that Cao Tang. I'm going to settle accounts with him. Our Guangming Academy is the most important thing. It should be placed in the center of the city to protect it from infringement to the greatest extent. Uncle Ji looked at the new address of Guangming Academy, and couldn't help showing an expression of indignation on his face. What a jerk. Forget it. Even if you go to talk now, he will still have excuses. He just wants to show me off. I didn't expect Cao Teng's current structure to be so small. I really looked up to him before. In order to suppress me, ignore the entire Guangming Academy. What qualifications does such a person have to become the Lord of the Bright God City? The Pope is really blind and dizzy. Shui Wanren snorted coldly, and then complained from the side. The intensity of this complaint is also very strong. In a few words, even the Pope was scolded. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3443. This is the real king. So strong. Hearing it in his ears, he inexplicably felt his body tremble. Good guy. What a good guy. It's deafening. Cough. Deputy Palace Master, take it easy, don't dare to talk nonsense. The Pope's eyes and ears are all over the world. If the Pope listens to your words, he will be finished. Gao Song, the Dean of the God of War Academy of Guangming University, gave a wry smile and quickly reminded. The Pope, that is the supreme existence of the light camp, can you just complain? What's wrong? When did our Guangming Academy start to engage in literary inquisition? I've done it, and I'm afraid people will say it. Aren't what I said true? It's just telling the established facts. Forget it, let's enter the mansion. The overall layout here hasn't changed, has it? Shui Wanren looked at Gao Song, the Dean of the God of War Academy, who was in charge of everything here before. No, they are all built according to the original appearance of our Guangming Academy. For this sense of familiarity. It's just because the area of the Guangming God City is limited, so the area allocated to our Guangming Academy is even more limited, so many places can only be reduced in proportion, which is also impossible. Besides that, practice rooms have been built in most places. Under the entire Guangming God City, there is a steady stream of divine power surging up. And in Guangming Academy, we have specially placed many spirit gathering formations. So if you practice in the practice room here, you can get twice the result with half the effort. In the future, everyone can practice hard here. With the help of the source power of the surrounding gods to practice, you may all be promoted in less than 100 years. Gao Song, the Dean of the Ares Academy, couldn't help showing a blush on his face. He had experienced the effect of practicing here before, and the feeling can only be said to be extraordinarily wonderful. Not bad, you're doing great. Our main task right now is to cultivate. Besides, pay as much attention as possible to the traces of those Protoss cultivators. I always feel that they will not let it go. Although we now have the bright God City as our foundation, we still can't be careless. If conditions permit, send a few instructors and students to form a reconnaissance team, and investigate the surrounding area of the bright God City inch by inch. Check to see if there are any gathering places for Protoss practitioners around. Shui Wanren frowned. He always felt that the Protoss was the real trouble. As for the others, they are all okay, and they can still hold on in front of them. But the Protoss involves too many levels. A little carelessness will be a disaster for the entire Guangming Academy and even the Guangming camp. Can't help but he doesn't pay attention. Or I'll go check and check. Fang Fan shrugged, and then offered to ask Yang to say. It's really meaningless to hang around here. Practice or something is the most boring thing. It takes 180 years of practice to have a chance to be promoted. That kind of feeling is really not good. You should stay here. If you kid go out, you will cause trouble. Perhaps it was nothing at all, but once you went, you really provoked those strong men from the Protoss. Shui Wanren rolled his eyes, and then made an evaluation. The rest of the people nodded one after another. This visual sense is really too strong. Fang Fan was speechless. I want to make my own contribution to the construction of Guangming Academy, but now it's not enough. Good guy. In fact, Fang Fan mainly missed the storage rings of those Protoss practitioners. The storage ring is like a blind box. The pleasure of opening the blind box is too strong. From time to time, fragments of the God Stone and the Spring of Life can be found in the storage rings of those Protoss cultivators. A God Stone fragment is worth 10,000 high-grade star cores. If a small bottle of Life Spring water can be sold, it is also worth thousands of high-grade star cores. Fang Fan has made rough statistics before, and the storage rings of almost 100 Protoss cultivators can produce a fragment of the God Stone, and the storage rings of 10 Protoss cultivators can produce a small bottle of Life Spring water. Based on this estimate, if 100 God Race cultivators can be killed, 1 God Stone fragment and 10 vials of Life Spring water can be obtained. Worth tens of thousands of high-grade star cores. That's just 100. What if there are 1,000 and 10,000? This attraction is enough. If you have a chance, you must touch the Protoss area and hang around. What Fang Fan lacks now is the star core. For a 7-star peak sanctuary army to be promoted to an 8-star peak sanctuary, at least 1 million top-grade star cores are needed. The almost 2 million high-grade star cores obtained in the True God Cave before were used to purchase the Holy Lord Thunder Tribulation Exemption card. The star core in Fang Fan's hands now is not enough to promote a 7-star peak sanctuary realm army to an 8-star peak sanctuary realm. Not to mention the promotion of the 8-star peak sanctuary realm legion to the Saint Venerable realm. Fang Fan licked his lips. He still wanted money. The star core in my hand is still not enough. In the city of Light God, it is reckoned that he is practicing every day, so he can't run to rob houses, right? What are you thinking? Are you blaming my father for not letting you go out? My father is also worried about your safety. Concubine Xiang held Fang Fan's arm. While talking, a smile appeared on her face. No, don't think about it. I just suddenly thought of something. Is there any place in this Guangming God City that can quickly get the star core? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and then asked. You still want to engage in star core? Fang Fan boy, are you too greedy? The protection fee collected in the True God's Cave mansion before is probably worth millions of high-grade star cores, plus you won the betting in the exchange game before. Wipe. You are definitely worth several million high-grade star cores. Bai Biao immediately became jealous, and sighed while talking. Yes, my husband, what do you need so many star cores for? I didn't see your flower star core either. You don't have a special hobby of collecting star cores, do you? Could it be that you want to gather all the star cores under the sky together? Concubine Xiang blinked. with a curious look on her face. I didn't expect you to be such an insatiable person. Chu Sisi walked over with her sexy waist twisting, and then looked at Fang Fan curiously. Fang Fan fell silent. How does this make him explain? Can he say that a large amount of star core is needed to promote the Legion? No matter how many star cores there are, that's not enough. It is still very difficult to achieve financial freedom right now. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3444. Actually, husband, you still have a lot of star cores. Concubine Xiang blinked suddenly, then leaned into Fang Fan's ear and said. While speaking, his eyebrows subconsciously raised. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment, he didn't quite understand some of them. God bone. As soon as Xiangfei said a word, Fang Fan instantly understood. Yes. How to forget these god bones? At that time, in the channel of the disaster god's underground palace in the True God Cave Mansion, a large sum of divine bones was scooped up. There are demigod bones, false god bones, and even quasi-god bones. Added together, there are thousands of divine bones. At that time, I did a rough calculation, thousands of demigod bones, the unit price was 800 to 1000 high-grade star cores, and the total value was several million high-grade star cores. Hundreds of pieces of pseudo-god bones, with a unit price of 10,000 to 20,000 high-grade star cores, and a total value of several million high-grade star cores. There are also dozens of quasi-god bones, the unit price is nearly 100,000 high-grade star cores, and the total value is several million high-grade star cores. Put together, they are even worth 10 to 20 million high-grade star cores. Of course, things are rare and expensive, if so many high-grade star cores enter the market at the same time, it may not be possible to sell them all at such a high price. But to a certain extent, its special value has been demonstrated. Speaking of divine bone, the divine envoy remembered it. Fang Fan boy. You want to give me 2 copies. Chu Sisi's one is also mine. You promised me back then. Fang Fan boy, don't forget. Boy Fang Fan, I'm very worried about you now. You know how to cheat me. Bai Piao's eyes widened, and then he couldn't help but glance around Fang Fan, and then said solemnly. What I said is APT. Fang Fan was speechless. As for what? Guarding against him is like guarding against thieves? That's it? Some have passed. Not at all. God bone. How many demigod bones did you get in the True God Cave? No. Judging by your expressions, could it be that you have obtained the bone of a false god? Cough. Then what? I have a heartless request. I have encountered a bottleneck in my practice now. If I have a fake god bone for enlightenment, it may be much better. If you have one, can I exchange one with the star core? Of course, it doesn't matter if you are reluctant to part with it. Just lend me a few days, and I'll be able to comprehend the aura of the false god. I must have given the star core that should be given. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, could not help but increase the look of anticipation on his face while talking. What can I borrow or not? Take it. Master, I'll give you a few dollars too. It's too much, and it's not worth the money. Fang Fan shrugged, and casually threw out more than a dozen god bones, some false god bones, and a few demigod bones. This. So much. Have the god bones become a rotten street thing now? Hiss. Oh my god. What the hell is going on in this world? Shui Wanren swallowed a mouthful of saliva, while talking, his eyes gradually became erratic. Shui Wanren stared at Fang Fan, inexplicably wanting to smile bitterly. Is my precious son-in-law so handsome? Tai Shiji also looked a little confused when he saw the pseudo-god bones and half-god bones he had obtained. My good apprentice. Good guy. Give your master a big surprise. Looking at the past, inexplicably trembling. Where did you get so many god bones? This is a divine bone. It's still the bone of a false god and the bone of a demigod. This is a treasure that can be encountered but not sought after in the entire sanctuary of the firmament. How did you get here? It's like a stone. Shui Wanren murmured to himself, this wave was really educated. A wave of shock is in place. I don't need this thing for now. So for me, apart from turning it into a star core, it has no other use. It's just an enlarged star core. It's just that I have a lot of god bones in my hand and want to make a move. Can I find a way? Fang Fan frowned, then looked at Shui Wanren and Grand Uncle Ji. It is no problem for him to deal with 3 or 5 divine bones, but if it is several thousand, it will be stressful. This. How much do you have? Give it all to me, I'll contract it for you. I am the deputy head of the Guangming Academy, and I will purchase this batch of divine bones in your hands in the name of the Guangming Academy. How much do you want? It's time to use funds from the internal treasury of Guangming Academy. Shui Wanren waved his hand and said proudly. He still has this power. For it. Probably only a few thousand pieces. I made a rough estimate, and it's worth more than 10 million high-grade star cores. Since it's the chief of the deputy mansion, just give him a broken bone, and don't want a small change, just give him 10 million high-grade star cores. Fang Fan's eyes lit up, and he nodded immediately. If he can really hold tens of millions of high-grade star cores now, then many legions under his hands will be able to directly promote to the 9-star peak sanctuary realm. 10 million? Or top-grade star core? Shui Wanren looked at the array of divine bones in front of him, and fell into deep thought. It's because he's out of shape. Cannot afford. Really can't afford it? Selling Guangming Academy doesn't seem to be enough. Cough. I'll introduce you to a big chamber of commerce later on. Let them distribute it, maybe there is a chance to clean it up. Speaking of which, where did you get so many god bones? Good guy. Didn't you dig out all the tombs of the gods in the real God's cave? Shui Wanren frowned, and then began to think about it. I have to say that this association still looks good, but it sounds a bit unreal. Not too much to say. There is absolutely no need for this. That's not the case. How to say? Probably, when I was walking, I tripped over the god bone, and then just picked it up. Fang Fan said calmly. Shui Wanren seemed a little jealous. Is this the so-called Versailles? Okay. Put it all away. I will take care of the matter of helping you distribute the bones. But in the future, don't show all these god bones casually. You should know the truth about keeping money secret. Oh shit. If you weren't my son-in-law, I would have robbed you right now. Shui Wanren's eyes widened, and then he couldn't help but complain. Fang Fan shrugged, this father-in-law is very straightforward. In Guangming Academy, Fang Fan can fully believe that, apart from his own women like Xiangfei Xiaoliulai and Miranjiao, only Shui Wanren, the deputy palace master, and that cheap master and great uncle Ji are left. These two didn't know how many times they had rescued Fang Fan. The friendship between life and death is beyond description. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3445. It is also because of this that Fang Fan has always been very casual in front of Shui Wanren and Tai Shijia. Yeah, okay, got it? Fang Fan said casually. Shui Wanren shook his head, wanting to sigh inexplicably. This kid has always looked so cynical, but for some reason, any good thing can happen to him. Isn't this the sign of the child of luck? Shui Wanren shook his head, and didn't bother to think about it, and then he sighed softly, Feeling particularly deeply. Recently, I have been staying peacefully in Guangming Academy. There are practice rooms here. Find a practice room by yourself to practice hard and stabilize your cultivation. Although your combat power has improved, but your cultivation. When you came out of the sanctuary of the sky, weren't you in the middle of the 2-star sanctuary? How long has it been? 1 month? 2 months? How come your cultivation has soared to the first stage of the 4-star sanctuary? What happened? Shui Wanren took a deep breath, and while talking, his eyes couldn't help turning rapidly, and the more he looked, the more shocked he felt. In a month or two, not even before, he rushed to the middle stage of the 2-star sanctuary and was promoted to the early stage of the 4-star sanctuary. If Shui Wanren remembers correctly, when Fang Fan was in the middle of the 2-star sanctuary, he seemed to have beat up the sky-level students of the 6-star sanctuary of Guangming Academy. Now that his cultivation base has skyrocketed by almost 2 levels, where is the limit of his combat power now? Let him continue to be promoted like this, maybe it won't take 100 years before he can beat up a demigod violently. Gudong. Thinking of this, Shui Wanren couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. The more you think about it, the more real it becomes. The more I think about it, the more exciting it becomes. In all aspects, isn't that the case? Isn't it commonplace for my great-uncle G's apprentice to break the first rank every month? This kind of basic operation, as for being so surprised. Deputy Palace Master, the layout is a little bigger. Uncle G raised his head and chest, and drifted away silently. His apprentice is so strong, and he, as a master, feels a burst of sweetness in his heart. Comfortable. It feels so good. It feels so good to have a monstrous apprentice. Come on. You don't get cheap there and act like a good boy. Does Fang Fan's skyrocketing cultivation base have anything to do with your master having half a star core? This is entirely caused by his own cultivation. It seems that you also had some adventures in the True God Cave Mansion. Hee. In the future, the Deputy Palace Master really dare not retreat. If you retreat for 1,000 or 800 years, you will find that this kid has become a god after you come out. Then how embarrassing it will be. Is it possible that I still have to bow to this kid? Shui Wanren couldn't help but start to predict the future. The more I think about it, the more shocked I feel. Fang Fan shrugged his shoulders. He found that the Deputy Palace Master was now developing towards a prophet. At every turn, I want to predict a wave of future situations. Why? I suddenly remembered that when I started my apprenticeship, this bastard said that he had achieved a demigod position in 100 years and then graduated from Guangming Academy. At that time, I felt unbelievable, and it was just a joke at the time. Now, I suddenly feel that the possibility of being achievable is great, great. My apprentice is too evil. As a teacher, it seems that we must hurry up and practice hard, and break into the demigod state as soon as possible. As a master, I can't be lower than my apprentice. Uncle G raised his eyebrows, and now he felt a sense of crisis in his heart. With such a strong apprentice, it is really too difficult to think about these things all the time, for fear of being reversed and surpassed at any time. The more I think about it, the more confused I feel. Forward. You can't be like this, you haven't reached that point yet. This whole thing is a little bit over. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and then couldn't help letting out a foul breath. That said it like it was true. The point is, as for what? It will take a few years for him to be promoted to demigod. A few years may be short, but if it is long, it is really long. Forget it, I'll go practice. I go first. Uncle G said something, and then he ran away, which is extremely fast. After Grand Uncle G left, Shui Wanren confessed a few words and left. The Guangming Academy in the Guangming God City has just been established. In fact, many things are still not perfect, and it needs to be rectified and corrected in all directions. With the palace lord not around, Shui Wanren, the deputy palace lord, would naturally follow suit. This is also his unshirkable responsibility and obligation. Owner. Under the city, there is a divine vein. Very strong divine veins. If I swallow this divine vein, I will be able to recover a little bit of divine power. I can also evolve part of the divine body. Master, I will be invincible by then. Master, help me. The god of Dur flew over with the purple-red fireworks, and the fireworks trembled slightly as he spoke, obviously excited in his heart. Fang Fan has no expression on his face. The divine veins under the ground gave birth to this newly built city of light. To a certain extent, the reason why this place has become a brand new holy place for cultivation in the light camp is because of this divine vein underneath. If not, the significance of cultivating in the territory of the divine land will be greatly reduced. No. I can't move for now. Don't think about those things that are there. This is not what you should covet. Fang Fan frowned, then snorted directly. You can tear down the sky and the ground, but you can't tear down the house. Owner. Why are you so pedantic? Swallow this divine vein. I will be invincible. When the time comes, whatever you want, I can get it for you. Master, when the time comes, I can still transfer my divine power to you. Your cultivation will achieve a full-scale skyrocket. Master. It would be a pity if such a great opportunity is missed. Master. Be sure to control it well. Master, I can't deceive you. Master, as long as you help me, we will surely succeed if we cooperate. The purple-red flame kept moving up and down, which showed the extreme unrest in the heart of the god of Dur. While talking, his figure moved again. At this moment, Fang Fan gradually showed suspicion on his face. This god of doom seems to be a little restless. Some are too deliberate. Eagerly a little out of shape. How much of what he said was true and how much was false? Could it be that he wants to use this divine vein to strengthen himself, and then backfire? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and fell into deep thought. What Fang Fan signed with the god of Dur was a god-slave contract. The contract that Fang Fan concluded with him with the fictitious god of rage god, should not be accidental in nature. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3446. But what if? After all, Fang Fan, the god of rage, is a fictitious one. These so-called gods may have some backup means. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, and gradually fell into deep thought. This wave, we really have to follow and stabilize. There must be no carelessness in the slightest. Fang Fan could only listen to half of the words of the god of calamity. Don't play your little cleverness in front of me. I can kill you at any time. Fang Fan snorted coldly, and then a thought directly oppressed the purple-red fireworks in front of him. Ah! Don't want. Pain. The god of Dur's roar came, shaking crazily in pain. Fang Fan's expression remained the same, and he didn't show any sign of it. For such an existence, it cannot be judged by common sense. Give him some punishment appropriately, so that he can give up those messy thoughts. Call. Hoo. Damn it. This god can't backfire. The opportunity is not yet complete. If there is a backlash now, there is still a certain chance of failure. After all, this guy's physique is really different, and the scorching sun in the sea of consciousness didn't figure out what it was. So hold on now, you can only hold on. In all aspects, collapse. Gudong. The god of Duer's soul seemed very tangled. He wanted to resist directly, but he seemed powerless. The resentment in my heart gradually increased, but gradually disappeared. He wants to be safe. Since he didn't know how many thousands of years he had been trapped in the disaster god's underground palace, he didn't want to waste this only chance casually. Success must be ensured. Snored. How dare you insult me like this? When this god takes your body, I will imprison your soul and flog you for hundreds of millions of years. This god wants you to suffer from the annihilation of your soul forever. If the god of Dur had a face now, his face would definitely look particularly ferocious. These are all from the most surging thoughts in my heart. It burst out suddenly, crazy, and excited. Slowly, followed by pressing down. Such feelings cannot be simply expressed in a few words. Just, very real. Fang Fan looked the same, glanced at the practice room in front of him, and then walked in silently. This cultivator has installed a small spirit gathering array, which can gather the surrounding divine power to the greatest extent, so it can maximize the cultivator's cultivation speed. Cultivating here is even more than 10 times faster than cultivating in the Tower of Light in the original Guangming Academy. If you compare it with the ordinary places of the original Guangming Academy, there is even a gap of hundreds of times in cultivation speed. No wonder the major forces are fighting to the death in order to compete for the resources of the sacred land. This feeling is really extraordinary. Fang Fan moved his mind slightly, then nodded silently, and the expression on his face gradually changed slightly. Everything seemed different. The practice room Fang Fan chose was large enough for dozens of people to practice together, so others naturally followed suit. For them, the current Fang Fan is completely the backbone. Only by mixing with Fang Fan can one's own value and significance be fully elevated. If you fall behind in the middle, it will be bad. Why? Is it boring practice again? It doesn't mean anything. Boy Fang Fan, let's go out and have some fun. Let this envoy be trapped here, I will go crazy. Let's hurry up and find a way to sell our god bones. If I don't sell this divine bone for a day, I always feel that something is wrong in my heart. Fang Fan, don't pretend, you are not a person who knows how to practice at all. Bai Piao muttered, the 3 sentences cannot be separated from the god bone. Fang Fan didn't hate cultivation so much, but he didn't like it either. Fang Fan would choose to meditate only when he was about to break the rank. Blindly penance is not a common way. Didn't the deputy palace master say that he would help keep an eye on the way to buy and sell the god bone? What are you in such a hurry for? Is it possible that you still have a way to sell? Fang Fan glanced at Bai Piao, then said indifferently. This guy is nothing. Ah. I really have. Fang Fan boy, do you still remember Zhao Wei? That little fat guy. Bai Piao groaned, and then offered a candidate. Fang Fan froze for a moment, then silently nodded. Of course, Fang Fan didn't forget this boy who gave money so easily. Thinking back to the first time they met, the boy who gave money gave him 10 billion low-grade star cores. For Fang Fan at the time, he was really taken aback. It was later learned that his father was the president of one of the most powerful chambers of commerce in this big world. The reason why Zhao Wei was brought to Guangming Academy was actually the main purpose was to let him meet some awesome classmates here, so that he could recruit the Chamber of Commerce to be guest ministers in the future. You mean, looking for Zhao Wei? That's one way. Fang Fan silently nodded, then nodded. If Fang Fan remembers correctly, Zhao Wei's father seems to be the president of Tianlan Chamber of Commerce. The influence of Tianlan Chamber of Commerce is extraordinary. But where are you going to find Zhao Wei? Not to mention looking for his father. It's been scattered before. After the friendly, I haven't seen him again. Fang Fan shook his head, then followed suit. I'm sure, he must be in the city of light. Based on the arrogance of his family, how could he miss a holy place for cultivation like the bright God city? It doesn't matter how much star core you spend, the main thing is to come and have a look. You wait. I'm going to find him now. When the time comes to sell the god bones, give me more points. Bai Piao cried out excitedly, then turned around and ran out. As long as it involves the star core, Bai Piao has always been in this posture. Only the star core can arouse the self-motivation in this guy's heart. Good place, this is really a good place. Isn't it better to practice in the Tower of Light? Going to practice in the Tower of Light requires a time limit and consumes a lot of star core. It's completely free here. Call. You must not miss this great training opportunity. I feel like I can practice in seclusion here for 10,000 years. Zhuo Yao's eyes widened, and while talking, he couldn't help but nodded frequently. The ghost on the side can still control a little bit, but the excited look on his face is also very real. Cultivation is to go against the sky. It's not easy to take a shortcut. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3447. I may be promoted again. I have a hunch. Within half a year, you will be able to break into the high-level saint realm. Chu Ceci suddenly said such a sentence, which immediately detonated the audience. Good guy. This is too fierce. Is this the legendary master of Versailles? When this was said, it immediately aroused countless eyes of envy and hatred. Gap, this is the gap. Hey, there was not much difference between President Chu and me before. I am the vice president of Tiandao Society, and you are the president of Guangming Society, that's just a little bit. Now I'm out of reach. Zhuo Qiuyao gave a wry smile, his mentality collapsed. Suddenly, I felt that the desire to practice has decreased a lot. Even if he has practiced in seclusion for 10,000 years, it will be difficult for him to match Chu Ceci's current achievements. Thinking about it this way, it feels a little weird for no reason. At this moment, the desire to sigh is very real. Hey! Brother Zhuo, after all, President Chu has inherited the inheritance of the disaster god. That is the inheritance of the true god, how can we compare it with it? Furthermore, President Chu digested this wave of opportunities after going through life and death. Not to mention anything else, as far as the Holy Venerable Thunder Tribulation before, I'm afraid that 99% of the people who are against him will definitely die. Compared to the terrifying Saint Thunder Tribulation, it's only natural for President Chu to gain such a reward now. Gisha thought very cheerfully, while talking, then silently nodded. That's what I said, but we can all see President Chu's progress. Wealth and wealth are sought in danger, this is absolutely true. If you don't take risks, how can you make progress? Hey! Speaking of which, President Chu seems to have followed Brother Fang Fan, and his cultivation level has risen by leaps and bounds. At that time, when he was enduring the inheritance of the god of disaster, President Chu also encountered a wave of risks. At that time, he was able to survive by biting the lips of Brother Fang Fan. Could it be that the closer you get to Brother Fang Fan, the faster your cultivation will improve? Zhou Qiuyao fumbled for the position of his jaw, with a thoughtful look on his face, and then made a gesture to hug Fang Fan's position. Brother Fang Fan, hug. I can. Zhuo Qiuyao had a cheap expression on his face, why did he look so much like that guy Bai Piao? Let's not do this. I'm not gay. Cultivate well. You have also heard the words of the Deputy Palace Master before. Doesn't it mean that the Guangming Academy in this Guangming God City is completely safe? Here, we can be regarded as internal and external troubles. Inside, Cao Tang, the Lord of the Bright God City, and we are still not dealing with it. Outside, dark schools, Black and white students, and Yuanqi Academy are all eyeing. Even if these are risks, the risks are not great. After all, we still know each other better, so it's not a problem in general. But those Protoss cultivators are elusive, and we don't even know where their lair is. I don't even know what kind of huge power they have. At present, we only know that there are demigod-level powerhouses among them, and there should be quite a few of them. Taking advantage of this peaceful time, improve your cultivation as much as possible. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and then said earnestly. In fact, even if Fang Fan didn't say anything, everyone knew about their own situation. Only one's own cultivation is real, and there is no need to pay too much attention to the rest. Compared to Fang Fan himself, he is only a 4-star early-stage sanctuary. The realm is not too high. Of the top 10 legions under him, only the Blood Azura Legion is still in the 8-star peak sanctuary realm, and the remaining 9 legions are in the 7-star peak sanctuary realm. 4 divine pets, 7-star sanctuary realm. Pixie mythical beast, a 5-star sanctuary. Keel whale height, a mid-level saint. On the whole, Fang Fan's strongest combat power is the keel whale height. In addition, there is another gold-armored puppet that needs to consume star cores as power to drive the quasi-demigod realm. Everyone seized the time to practice inside, and Fang Fan came out to breathe. A little restless now. Fang Fan always felt oppressed by an invisible aura, which seemed very depressing. Bad mood. Chu Ceci followed from behind, then smiled lightly. The smile on her face showed, her beautiful eyes were like crescent moons, clear and lovely. No, just thinking about something. Didn't you say that you are about to be cautious about the high-level saint status? Why don't you hurry up and practice? What are you doing here? Fang Fan turned his head to look at Chu Ceci, and suddenly reached out to help her straighten the messy hair around her ears. Chu Ceci turned her eyes unnaturally. Although she had experienced a lot of madness before, she seemed a little uneasy at this time. Under Fang Fan's gaze, her previous aloofness and arrogance instantly vanished into thin air. You and I. Woo 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 woo. Chu Ceci was about to say something, but Fang Fan silently lowered his head, and then silently kissed her red lips. The first taste is sweet, and the aftertaste is endless. Under the agitation of the agile tongue, the lips have a special taste. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Call. You're suffocating me. Why do you look like this? You are bullying me. Chu Ceci gritted her silver teeth, with a look of hatred on her face. Fang Fan gently lifted her white chin, with a wicked smile on his face. Only state officials are allowed to set fires, but ordinary people are not allowed to light lamps. Just say, how many times have you kissed me forcibly? I'm just returning a little bit, shouldn't I? Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and in a few words, his posture was high-spirited. Snort. Ignore you. Chu Ceci turned her head guiltily, her chest was heaving at this moment, the various thoughts in her heart were obviously not as calm as imagined, and her state of mind seemed very turbulent. By the way, have you felt any discomfort in your body since you crossed the catastrophe? Is there any hidden danger to your body from the inheritance of the god of disaster? Fang Fan groaned, and then dragged out the purple-red fireworks where the god of doom was. Fang Fan no longer has the slightest sense of trust in these so-called true gods. These so-called gods are actually more insidious and cunning than humans. Challenging the bottom line again and again. Many times, it is dizzying. If you don't pay more attention, you may be tricked to the end. Ah! It seems that there is nothing special about it. I feel that the combat power seems to have improved a lot. And then the speed of cultivation is much faster. From time to time, there will be many unique insights in my mind, which can help me better practice and learn combat skills. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3448. Chu Ceci thought for a while, and then shook her head. From the current point of view, everything is normal. What about the sea of consciousness? In the sea of consciousness, is there anything dirty? Fang Fan asked again. Previously, the god of doom wanted to seize the body by occupying the sea of consciousness. However, Fang Fan's sea of consciousness has its own antivirus system, so even if the god of calamity entrusts his soul in Fang Fan's sea of consciousness, he will only die in the end. I don't know. It seems, not. Chu Ceci blinked ignorantly. These things are very confusing. Tell me honestly, is there any mystery in the inheritance of the god of disaster? Is it the backhand that the god of calamity left behind for me? Wait until Ceci is cultivated, and finally counterattack. Fang Fan held the ball of purple-red fireworks in his hand, and his voice gradually became hoarse as he spoke. The thought moved slightly, and the purple flame jumped up and down. At the same time, the soul of the god of Dur in the purple flame also trembled. It hurts, it hurts. Master, don't. I really don't know. I'm just a god under the command of the disaster god. Whether he has any backhands, he won't tell me. Master, The soul of the god of Dur let out a hoarse roar, and the frequency of the beating of the purple-red fireworks suddenly increased. It was obvious that his mentality was a little broken, and it was difficult to return to consciousness for a while. I said it all. Master, don't torture me. The purple-red fireworks where the god of Dur was located obviously had much weaker light, and then the sound became much quieter. Explain. Fang Fan was startled, and secretly thought that sure enough, this so-called true god has really left behind in the inheritance of the disaster god. If it wasn't for Fang Fan's sudden whim, there would be endless troubles in the future. What did I say? Master, I really don't know. Immediately, the god of Dur began to pretend to be stupid again. Fang Fan's boundless mental power directly oppressed him, and he didn't bother to say anything now. It's useless to keep a disobedient god slave, so let's destroy it. Fang Fan murmured to himself, his words were full of domineering. The god of Dur panicked instantly, panicking like an old dog at this moment. Master, don't. Although I don't know what exactly is left in the inheritance of the disaster gods, but when these true gods leave the inheritance, they will basically leave a seed of God for themselves. When the predestined person grows to a certain level, the seed of God will take root and germinate, then gradually grow, and finally completely replace the original body. In this way, this person will become an incarnation of the true God. Owner. I've told you everything I know. Don't kill me. I really don't know the rest. I really only know so much. Master, don't. Take back your spiritual power. If this continues, my soul will really be broken. At this moment, the god of Dui told all the secrets like beans poured from a bamboo tube. This guy has never been with Fang Fan from the beginning to the end. I have always had my own little Jeju in my heart. Fang Fan squinted his eyes and looked at the purple-red fireworks in front of him, which directly hit the core of the god of Dur's soul. At this moment, Fang Fan was indeed murderous. This thing is not reliable. From time to time, there will be some moths. The god of Dur's heart trembled inexplicably. He felt a murderous intent, an exceptionally strong murderous intent. The god of Dur suddenly fell into infinite oppression. He is very clear that Fang Fan is reviewing him at this moment. He should be thinking whether to kill him or save his life. Danger, suddenly. It would be unrealistic to say that there is no feeling at all. At this moment, there are only two ways in front of the god of Dur. If you don't resist, you will be directly obliterated by Fang Fan with your mental power. After all, they are still bound by the god-slave contract. Either completely resist, directly tear up the god-slave contract, and then take Fang Fan away. But before, when he was fully armed, he even failed to seize the house. Now, can he succeed? Deep in this heart, many other ideas will naturally emerge. The more I thought about it, the more confused my thinking became, and my eyes gradually became erratic. It's different, really different. I can't help but feel mentally, fully oppressed to the end. Back and forth, seems to be a dead end. Why is it so difficult to live on? This road is blocked. Play chicken. Nothing. Owner. I'm really done talking. I have nothing to hide. Before, I thought about it a little before, but you didn't ask me about it, Master. So I just forgot. Master, don't. Master, I don't want to die. Master, I don't dare anymore. The god of Durenade, and his body trembled uncontrollably. At this moment, his mental state collapsed on the spot. Fang Fan. Chu Ceci put her delicate hands on Fang Fan's body, a trace of hesitation appeared in her eyes. At this moment, she was also afraid that Fang Fan would be too impulsive. The current situation still needs to be stabilized in an all-round way, and there should be no carelessness in the slightest. Chu Ceci didn't want Fang Fan to recklessly kill his god Nujur because of her affairs. In Chu Ceci's view, the god of Era, who still retains his soul, will definitely become Fang Fan's greatest power in the future. Don't worry, I have a sense of proportion. Fang Fan's indifferent voice came, and he grabbed the purple-red fireworks in his hand. Immediately, the fireworks overflowed from the gap between the hands, and the surging energy burst out in an all-round way, invisibly directly attacking the soul of the god of Dur. Ah! Ah! The god of Dur let out a heart-piercing roar, and the purple-red fireworks kept changing shapes in Fang Fan's hands. Looking at it like this, there is something special about it, especially when looking at it true and clear. Fang Fan didn't kill him. In the end, he gave the god of Dur a sigh of relief. This kind of high-quality god-slave is not easy to find. If he enters the realm of gods in the future, he will need this guy to provide some basic information. Remember, this is the first and last time. I know that you feel that you are a true god, and you are not willing to be my slave. I can understand this, but I hate betrayal. Don't think that you are worth much. In my eyes, you are at best a god who is about to fall. Although the gods are powerful, what is it that is about to fall? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3449. Fang Fan's indifferent voice came, word by word, and then transmitted to the depths of the soul of the god of Dur in an all-round oppressive way. Everything has already shown its truest appearance. Yes, Master, I dare not, I dare not, I dare not. The god of Dur made a humble voice, and he was really a little scared at the moment. The more I think about it, the more I feel that there is really too much involved in this matter. Fear and horror are also normal situations. Almost, he completely disappeared from this world. A generation of true gods will be wiped out immediately. Walk. I helped you solve the uprooting of the seeds of God in your sea of consciousness. Fang Fan looked at Chu Ceci and said immediately. Master, this is the God seed placed by God of Calamity himself. Even in my heyday, I may not be able to take it out unscathed. So Master. God of Dur's voice gradually lowered, and he naturally didn't dare to make any noise at this moment. It was purely a reminder at this time. You mean, the seed of God can't be taken out yet? What is the mystery of the seed of God? Fang Fan asked again. Master, this seed of God has penetrated into the sea of consciousness of the Lord, the mistress when she accepted the inheritance of the god of disaster, and has even become one with her sea of consciousness. If you want to take out the seed of God, you even need to destroy the sea of consciousness of the mistress. In this case, even if the mistress survives, she may only be a useless person in the future. Well, Master, I really didn't lie this time, it's all true. And if you fail to extract the seed of God, Master, you may even be affected. The god of viewer reminded again. All kinds of things involved still need to be fully cared about. Fang Fan, forget it, forget it. I'm fine now. At least until the seed of God grows stronger, my cultivation can continue to improve. I can still help you and be with you, I am satisfied. Chu Ceci blinked, looking rather optimistic. The faster your cultivation speed increases, the faster the seeds of God will take root and germinate, and the time when you will be taken away will be closer. This is a ticking time bomb after all. This time bomb must be cleaned up as soon as possible. Others, you don't have to care about it now, but this matter should be done as soon as possible. Go. I'll take you to a place. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, then took Chu Ceci's hand directly, and came to the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Where is this? Aren't we in Guangming Academy? This is not our Guangming Academy. Fang Fan. Chu Ceci looked at the surrounding thatched cottages and was stunned. This is like a paradise, the more you look at it, the more unbelievable what is going on. Inexplicably felt a little strange. Is this a small world? Master, why do you have a small world? I have never had such a small world with perfect rules. This is at least a small world that only true gods can have. The small world created by false gods and quasi-gods cannot be so real. Master, are you also the reincarnation of the true God? Master, which fallen god are you? The god of viewer controlled the purple flame to jump up and down. This wave is panic, really panic. As he spoke, his voice changed. If it is a real god, then the god-slave contract has been officially signed, and it cannot be torn up, then he, the god of viewer, has really become Fang Fan's god-slave. Originally it was just a stopgap measure, why, how did I get myself involved? Thinking of this, god of viewer's mood became terrible. How did it become like this? You are God. Then didn't I kiss the gods? I am a woman of the gods. Chu Ceci asked a wave of 3 soul questions, and then couldn't help but look back and forth at Fang Fan. Fang Fan. Thinking too much. This is the small world I got by accident before. Don't overthink it. Fang Fan shrugged, then said helplessly. Oh. Fortunately, you are not a god, otherwise I feel that there is a huge distance between me and you. Then I will not be equal to you in the future. Humph. Then it will be stressful when I kiss you from now on. Chu Ceci rolled her eyes, and then said seriously. Fang Fan couldn't help shaking his head. What is going on in this woman's mind? Isn't this, tired? Just keep talking about this kind of issue one after another. Fang Fan rubbed his forehead with a helpless expression. I am speechless at the moment. The god of viewer in the purple fireworks immediately felt relieved. Fortunately, I was thinking too much. As long as Fang Fan is not a true god, then he still has a chance to come back. But even if he is not a true god, my chances of turning things around are very slim. This guy is too weird. It seems that there are countless hole cards. The huge sun in the sea of consciousness. There is also this small world with complete rules. Then there is the ladder that the gods cannot invade. Anyone is taken out, and there is no one in a billion. But he has everything. Could this be the son of luck? All the luck of the weather has descended on him. If I take away the son of luck, will all the luck kill me in an instant? Otherwise, I'll just be his god slave. Anyway, I used to be god slave to god of disaster, and my life back then was not much different from god slave. Being a god slave to the children of fortune, maybe my future and destiny will be different in the future. In case I fly, my path is considered to be clear. Maybe in the future, I can catch a wave of great luck from the son of luck, and I can also jump in an all-round way, and even be stronger than the previous heyday. The god of Dewar rolled his eyes, and countless messy thoughts suddenly appeared in his mind. The more you think about it, the more urgent you become, and the more you think about it, the more excited you become. Gradually, your thinking becomes chaotic. How can I have such an idea? I am a true god, did I just surrender like this? Ah! What's the matter with the god now? Could it be that the signing of the god-slave contract still has the ability to subdue intelligence? What's going on in my head right now? The god of Dewar shook his head quickly, and then let out a breath of foul air, slowly getting rid of the thoughts in his mind, and gradually fell into short-term contemplation. If this continues, he may really consider himself a slave of God. This habitual awareness is really too strong. Just like when Fang Fan was called the master at the beginning, it was awkward. Now that he is used to the address, it is really uncomfortable to ask him to change another address. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3450. If the god of Dewar had evolved a face now, his face at this moment would definitely look particularly complicated. He has changed too much. Then what are we going to do now? Chu Ceci glanced around, then looked at Fang Fan blankly, expectantly. I need to go deep into your sea of consciousness and find the seed of God. Our sea of consciousness and even our soul must merge with each other at this moment. At that time, there may be some rejection reactions. You should do a good job of psychological construction first. Fang Fan nodded silently, then reminded him from the side. The current situation is actually relatively clear. There is also a good template for what to do next. I'll listen to you. Chu Ceci blinked her beautiful eyes, and couldn't help but smile. For some reason, when she saw Fang Fan, she felt very safe in her heart. Even just a look, a greeting, is enough. Good. Then let's start right away. This. Cough. Fang Fan suddenly became embarrassed, his eyes dodged a little, he suddenly missed a key question. What's wrong? Fang Fan. Are you okay? How are you? Why is your face so weird? Chu Ceci frowned, and looked very stunned when she spoke. Do I need to make any preparations in advance? Say it straight, it's fine. Chu Ceci seemed very reasonable. Cough. Fang Fan coughed again. If we want to blend the sea of consciousness and soul, we need to be frank. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and then his expression became more and more weird. Okay, no problem. Be frank and frank, just frank and frank. What happened to you? You weren't such a mother-in-law before. When you kissed me forcefully just now, why were you so direct? Chu Ceci bit her red lips, and while talking, her eyes couldn't help but shyness flickered. This. Frank means, we need to take all the clothes off each other. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and it was finally a showdown. This is really hard to say. How does this make him answer? All in all, it seems like a headache. Take off. Are you sure? Chu Ceci was stunned for a moment, then blushed and asked back. While speaking, his eyes couldn't help but dodge. At this moment, the little heart couldn't help beating wildly. There is a sense of anticipation invisibly, and a sense of oppression of a different kind. The feeling is very real. Theoretically, this is what is needed in order to increase the success rate. But I can tie black cloths over my eyes. Do not worry. I understand the principle of seeing no evil. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, and then said indifferently. At this time, you should still be careful. Too difficult. Need not. Do we need to see each other like this? Chu Sisi said something suddenly, which made Fang Fan dizzy. Good guy. Are you so straightforward now? There are some different meanings in these words. But I hope it's just us. Others, you can't stay here. Chu Sisi gritted her teeth, her beautiful eyes aimed at the purple-red fireworks beside her intentionally or unintentionally. The others here are actually referring specifically to the god of Dewar. The god of Dewar controlled the body of purple-red fireworks and swayed left and right. He is very embarrassed now. He was disgusted. Too difficult. Go out first. When I'm done, I'll come to you again. You can also go around this small world. You used to be a true god, so you should have built a small world. Look more, and then you can give me some suggestions for construction. I have deployed a force of the world around you. In this small world, no one can hurt you. Go as you please. Fang Fan looked at the god of Dewar, and immediately made arrangements. Obey master. The god of Dewar hurriedly controlled the body of the purple-red fireworks to tremble, and then hurriedly left. It's so embarrassing here. He didn't want to be a light bulb. The god of doom left, and only Fang Fan and Chu Sisi were left in the hut. Are you ready? I'm going to merge into the soul. Let go of your sea of consciousness defense. Our sea of consciousness is as close as possible. Fang Fan suddenly became serious, looking forward, and then spiritual power surged all over his body. Fang Fan put his hands on Chu Sisi's shoulders, their foreheads collided with each other, and in an instant, their thoughts merged into one. Fang Fan gritted his back molars, and only felt a sense of smoke coming out of his 7 orifices. At this moment Fang Fan has slowly withdrawn his soul from his body. It is even necessary to build a pathway between his sea of consciousness and Chu Sisi's sea of consciousness based on the soul. This kind of pain is no less than tearing apart the soul. Grass. Careless. Fang Fan's mouth is bloody now. Surroundings, the smell of blood became stronger. Swish. The moment Fang Fan's sea of consciousness and Chu Sisi's sea of consciousness connected to each other, Fang Fan felt an unparalleled sense of relaxation and release.